Hi everyone, my name is Artem Bera and this is my boxing channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Today I want to talk with you about the topic of distance control. Here is how to develop this skill using a heavy bag. So, the first exercise that we're going to do is movement. Moving together with the bag, forward and backward. That is, we give the bag a little push and start moving with it, feeling the distance. Sometimes we reach out and extend our lead hand forward to accurately gauge the distance, making sure we're at the range we need. You can gradually increase the movement of the bag and move along with it. You can also slow it down quite a bit and try to really feel the distance by taking very small, deliberate steps. Once we have fully extended our arm and started to feel the distance with a completely straight arm, we take the arm away and begin to move around. Even without the arm, you should still be trying to maintain that same exact distance as we move slowly forward and backward. The next exercise is when the bag is stationary and we need to land punches from a standstill. That is, we throw a right straight, for example, or a left, but we deliver these punches from a stationary position. Then we add movement, meaning we get a sense of the approximate distance from which we can reach the bag. We need to add steps, we take a step back. For example, now we understand that to throw a right straight from a standstill, we need to take a step forward. We take a step forward and throw the punch from a stationary position. Then we take a step back, for example, or a step to the side. We realize that after stepping back, the bag is still within range, one step. So we take a step forward and punch from a stationary position, back to the side and again to the side. We see that the bag is once again at a one-step distance. We take a step and punch from a stationary position with the left or right hand. You can also add movement with two steps. 1, 2. Now we already know where the bag is. To the side. 1, 2. Punch from a stationary position. And each time we try to punch so that our arm fully extends and the torso rotates well. It's a similar way of working, only now we're reaching with a step. That is, we throw the punch while stepping forward, with both the left and right hand using a step. The same technique. Here we understand our distances about where we can reach with a step. From this distance, we take an extra step, for example, back to the side, then a step forward. Now with a step we've reached and we understand that one reached, moved out. Here, another step back, moved a bit farther away, then a step forward. I remember that I need to take another step forward to reach. Take a step, then throw a punch. Again, move over here, then over here. Shift your weight and constantly change the distance, trying to reach them with a step. Here I take one step at a time. I reach with a step, I took 2 steps. I need to take one step, just a simple empty step with a punch. A variation of working with light punches. First, we swing the heavy bag and begin moving in sync with its rhythm, delivering a series of light straight punches as it moves. We must focus on continuously turning our bodies and reaching out from a long distance to maintain the proper range throughout the entire drill. We can also push the heavy bag, swing it back and forth and work from a mid-range distance to feel that we are constantly moving. This helps us maintain the sensation that we are staying very close to the opponent at all times. Or from close to mid-range a bit farther, the same thing applies. We can also practice our close and mid-range distance control in the exact same way. This involves swinging the heavy bag and then focusing on trying to stay as close to it as possible at all times, maintaining your position while it moves back and forth. By keeping our elbows, especially the left elbow, slightly forward, we understand that this is close range. So this is our close range, when we can touch the bag with bent elbows. The bag. And in this position, we start moving steadily forward and then backward while constantly maintaining this exact distance. The next training option involves focusing on working with light touches. That is to say, we don't throw any powerful punches, but rather very light ones, just enough to make a bit of contact. But remember, these punches should always be delivered at your maximum speed. So we carefully approach the bag and try to touch the bag very lightly, making absolutely sure that it doesn't even begin to sway in the slightest bit. And in this specific way, we can develop a much more refined sense of distance, not hitting so hard that the bag flies away from us, but instead working with control so that the bag doesn't even move. This practice will help us to rotate our back and hips properly, allowing us to reach from a further distance and helping us to understand more clearly exactly where the opponent is positioned at all times. If you miss the target, it means you need to step a little closer or rotate a bit more. But we work with just a touch. You can also practice touch strikes, for example, on a wall or a wall pad on a stationary target that you can reach keeping in mind that if you hit too hard and don't clench your fist, you might get injured. That's why working on the wall is good. You almost touch the wall, but at the same time you have a sense of danger, so you stop your hand in time and clench your fist. The next option for working on distance awareness is with a moving bag. The bag is moving and you need to find the right distance to hit the bag with your right or left hand, but without stepping forward. So we adjust our distance, feel the bag moving toward us, and when it moves away, we throw a punch with the left hand, for example, or the same thing. Step back, bam, throw with the right hand. This happens at the moment. When the bag is already moving backward continuously, hop, step back, bam, throw a long right hand. Because if we try to catch the bag when it's here, we won't be able to fully extend our arm. We'll end up choosing the wrong distance. That's why when it starts to move away, that's the moment we throw the punch. And we make an effort to fully extend the arm. The same principle applies for when the bag is hanging at the very top. We want to throw the punch at its highest point. So we keep moving and try to throw a long straight punch from our spot with the bag in motion. Once again, one from the spot. Bam, we throw it, we move with the bag. We move and from the spot, bam, a long punch. Bam. Bam. That's how it's done. Another effective way to work is to focus on controlling the bag using your lead hand. We also begin by swinging the bag and then start moving around it with an extended lead hand, consistently landing light, rhythmic punches as we maintain our distance. Constantly feeling the bag. Just like that. That's how we work with the bag, feeling the distance with a straight extended arm. These are some ways to work with the bag to develop a sense of distance. Of course, you can develop all these exercises in your own way, throwing 1-2s, 3-punch combinations, any combos you like. But the main principle remains the same. Keep the bag at arm's length or at close range. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel and give it a like. Thank you all, see you next time.